Veronica and I'm part of the supported playgroup team here at the City of Kingston, and today we're going to be making Play-Doh at home. Play-Doh can be a really fun experience to do with your child, and there's lots of different learning opportunities along the way while you're making it. There's some maths involved when you're counting and measuring ingredients. It's a great tactile experience for children when they're touching the Play-Doh and the sensory part of it. There's also a great opportunity for you to use lots of language with your child in terms of talking about the ingredients, tipping and pouring and mixing all the ingredients together. It's a fantastic way for your child to use lots of small muscles in their hands while they're kneading and poking and playing with the Play-Doh. And it's a great opportunity for your child to use their imagination in any way that they want to while they're playing with the Play-Doh at the end after you've made it. So to make the Play-Doh, you probably already have a lot of the ingredients in your pantry at home. So it's just some cooking salt, some oil, and some plain flour, some cream of tartar. But if you don't have cream of tartar, you can use 3 tablespoons of lemon juice instead, some food colouring and some water. I've used the recipe that's on the cream of tartar container with a little bit of a difference. It says to cook it on the stove in a pot, but I'm just using some water from the kettle that's been boiled. So that's the only difference there. So let's get started. So we're going to have 2 cups of plain flour. And as I said before, you can be talking to your child about measuring out the flour, get them to help you to do it. So we're just going to pour some flour there, and they can be tipping it in, and then pop another one in there. So it's great for you to be counting along with your child. So that's number 2. And then we have 1 cup of salt. And so we just tip that into there like that. And they can even maybe taste some of the different ingredients. They can taste what the salt is like and what the flour might be like. It's different tastes to it, or feel the texture of it. So that's 1 cup of salt. And then we have, I'm using the cream of tartar, so we have 4 tablespoons of the cream of tartar. So that's 1, 2, 3, coming to the end of the container, and 4. So that's a great little activity for them to be scooping that out and putting it in as well. So now we're just putting in 2 tablespoons of oil. Any type of cooking oil that you've got is fine. And we'll pop that over there, and then we add our water from the kettle that's just been boiled. So this part you'll have to do that with your child because it could be a little bit too hot. I'm going to make green Play-Doh today, so I like to add it to the water. Some people just add it straight into the bowl. I'm just going to pop a few drops in there to make it quite green. You can make any colour you like. Give it a bit of a stir, and then we add it in, and this is when you can be talking about all the mixing and the stirring and the pouring. So I give it a good mix, mixing it around, and they can see the colour coming out like that. Mix, mix, mix. And this is something that you can have in a container for a couple of weeks. Some people like to put it in their fridge wrapped up in Glad wrap. and it can keep up to 3 or 4 weeks in the fridge. So once I can see that it's coming into a bit of a lump, I can see that I don't need to add much more of the water. So I'm going to just pop that straight onto a chopping board. You can put it on the bench, either way. I'm going to get my hand in there now. This is the fun part. This is where your child can help you as well, because now it feels, it's nice and warm and gooey. So we'll stick that in. I might just add a little bit more flour. It's a little bit wet. So you'll know the consistency of it. If it's a bit wet, you can just add some more flour to it. There we go. And just pop it out on the board like that. And then we start to knead it. Just might add a little bit more flour to that one. And the good thing is with Play-Doh too, it's all non-toxic, so if little ones do end up eating it, it doesn't matter, it's not going to have any nasties in it that's going to hurt them at all. So we just keep kneading and mixing. And it starts to go into the Play-Doh, which is the fun bit. So this is when your child can get right into it and have a good time mixing it around. And there we go. And now we can talk about some things that you can add to the Play-Doh. Well, they might probably just have lots of fun just using that. You might have some Play-Doh cutters at home already. There's one of a rabbit and a heart. You can usually find, sometimes you can get them at Kmart or just the supermarket, but if you don't have any Play-Doh cutters, you might just have like a little cookie cutter you could use, or just a plastic cup that you could make some different shapes with. You don't have to have proper cutters. I've just got a potato masher that they could use to make some different shapes on the Play-Doh, like that. Or some patty pans. Kids love to have patty pans and make little cupcakes out of the Play-Doh. Or you might even like to add just some simple straws to the Play-Doh, and they can just use their imagination any way they want to. So you can always add other things to Play-Doh, although this is fun just using this the way it is, but you might like to, maybe if you're out on a walk with your child, you might find some natural materials to use. So for example, there's some leaves, and I found a gum nut and some seed pods, and that can be a really interesting addition to playing with the Play-Doh. Or you might be lucky enough to live near the beach, and you might find some shells that have been washed up on the beach, and that can be a lot of fun for children to add some shells to Play-Doh to extend their play. Or some children might like to have some plastic animals, like some farm animals, that they could use their imagination and use the Play-Doh with that. Or some dinosaurs is always really fun. You could add some dinosaurs to the play. Or maybe even some people, some little people, some wooden people to it, or some little Lego people you might have around the house that you can add to the Play-Doh. So that's just another way that you can extend the Play-Doh and the experience for your child. So I was talking before about Play-Doh being a great sensory and tactile experience. I've just made some plain Play-Doh before, and I've added some rosemary to it. So it gives off a really nice smell, and it's a really different type of sensory experience for your child. But you could add something like sage or thyme or oregano, or even something like lavender, because that can be quite a calming experience for your child if they're a little bit stressed. You could have lavender and they could be playing with the Play-Doh and it's releasing the smells and kind of calming them down as well. So that's another way that you could use Play-Doh. So that's really all I wanted to share with you today about making Play-Doh. I hope you have lots of fun making it with your child. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye.